Mm. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS and Stop Taking My Children. I'm your host, Bob Pace. This is my evening live stream. I come on 3 times a day, one time at 8 in the morning, and then another time at 1 in the afternoon, and then the other time at 6 p.m. in the evening. Now, I'm on the West Coast. I'm broadcasting live from Surf City, USA, south of Los Angeles, and I'm about 3 blocks from the ocean. It's a warm welcome, and understand that you may have an issue with what I call the Child Protection System. I abbreviate and call it CPS. Now, there are many different names in every county and every state and worldwide. Yes, I did mention worldwide because I've talked to over 30 countries and I've talked to somebody in every state, sometimes 3 or 4 people in the state, different counties. Now, what CPS is, it's a government entity that's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. And they're supposed to also help out with family reunification. But apparently, some of the entities have gone rogue or gone bad. And I was a victim of that firsthand because my children were wrongly accused, or we were wrongly accused as parents, and our children were trafficking from not danger, but put into danger. Our kids had more damage done to them while they're in the hands of the child protection system and the care of foster care. It's a horrible, horrible experience they had to go through. Something I don't wish on anybody. Now, from my experience and from talking to over 2,600 some people from around the world in all 50 states, I would like to share their experiences and also tell you about the key to getting your kids back to fighting CPS. And that involves hiring an attorney. Now, I have an attorney that works for me that I hired. His name is Vincent W. Davis. And he and I have developed a good friendship, and we are trying to help anybody involved with CPS fight CPS. He's a professional attorney, and he can be reached at 888-888-6582. That's the law office of Vincent W. Davis. Now, his picture is the upper hand corner of my page here that I'm broadcasting from StreamYard through YouTube. He has a website called stand.store/attorney VWD. That has special deals and special rates if you're interested. Please look at that website. He has another website, vincentwdavis.com, which is his law site. But he has over 40 years of experience of fighting CPS. He's gotten back thousands of children. He's trained and educated in dependency law, family law, and juvenile law. He also is further trained in criminal law and is a trial attorney. He can also do civil law, where he can do lawsuits against CPS. He's not afraid after your case is over to sue them. And that's what he does. Now, he works out of Arcadia, and it's in LA County. Now, as I said, every place has different names. Like when I was involved, it was Orange County, the Child Protection Services, CPS. But right next door in LA County, it's the Department of Family and Child Services. So it's different, but it all boils down to the same thing. They're supposed to protect their children from neglect and abuse and to help out with family reunification. But apparently, a lot of them have gone bad or rogue, and that's where the problem lies in there. How do you work through them? Now, I have a great guest in here tonight, Lisa Bartley, who's come in and said good evening. She's a strong woman from Montana, lives in a small home up there in the coldness of Montana, and she was attacked by the local police, and her door was ripped apart, and her little 4-year-old son was taken away. He's now 5. Sadly, she's gone through a lot of tragedy in her life. She has a daughter that is over the age of 18 that visits hers and helps her. But she was abused by her husband, who also raped her. She has another friend that was really abusive to her, too, that walks her son to school right past her place. And her husband just recently fought her in court and got the custody of the child exclusively to him, to the point where she's been erased from CPS. CPS doesn't know she exists. Now, she fought the criminal charges and she got them dropped. They repaired her door at their expense, and that she now has made her home a lot better. She had a wood burning stove put in. Now she has a new new gas wall heater. And she'd set up her home to teach her son schooling at home, homeschooling. And she has a nice place set up, and she showed me pictures of it. But she hasn't seen her son since December. They've stopped the visitation. Somehow her ex-husband has manipulated the court system and done that. Now he is a bad man, as well as the other man in her life who would drive around with empty beer cans in his truck because he drank all the time, so it's not safe for her son. So anyway, he is her husband, by the way, sits out in front of her place. So she has gone to get a restraining order. And I don't know what the status of that, Lisa, but did I cover everything pretty good? Because she is a very sweet person. She's one of my family, one of my regulars. And I do want to make sure that I do help you, Lisa, and I'm glad you came here and joined me tonight. Now, it's really easy to talk in here. All you have to do is text me a question or a comment. All I need is your first name and your city and state, and if you're outside of the United States, your country. So, Lisa, what do you have new for me? You have anything to ask me or a comment to make? I have other people in this room. I'd love to hear from you all. This is what this room is all about. This is for you to help you with your CPS matter. Now, there's regular people that come in here all the time. I suppose you met my greatest hero, who's from Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, and she just told me that she'd been following me for a long time. And she does like what I take the time to do here. Well, Lisa, you've been good to me. I'd like to have you as part of my family. You are part of my family, as well as about 50 to 75 of you. And a lot of you come back all the time. There's Rocky, who's been in here daily from New York, who used to live in Pennsylvania, that has been fighting the wrongful conviction of his brother in Virginia. So you just wanted to tell me that yesterday, Kelly and Mason, now I don't know who Mason is I know Kelly's what they call it stepdad, but your second boyfriend. Is Mason the husband, or is Mason your son? I don't know what the name is. Who is Mason, Lisa? Lisa is LJ Bartley from Montana. We are the winter storm, and they went sledding right by my house, so I could hear him just to get me upset and disturbed inside because I wanted my son back. I love that little boy. I can't wait to have him in. Well, Lisa, you told me that your ex-husband wanted to talk to you about maybe making more arrangements to see your son. That's terrible. Again, if you don't want your husband to parade around anymore, you can get a restraining order. That way you don't have to be disturbed by it because it hurts your heart. It's wrong for them to do that. Oh, Mason is the man that got full custody of your child. And okay, so we know that Kelly is a friend that befriended you but turned out really sour. And Mason is a biological father. Why these two men are parading around you, I don't know. It's wrong, Lisa. LJ 33 Bartley is a great woman from Montana. She needs all the support we can. Now, I had a room full of people and they all disappeared, and no one else except Lisa had written anything. I'm hoping I'm not chasing people around because this room is what you make it. If you come in here and tell me comments or questions, they'll make it go better and go faster and it won't be so boring. It's so sad. It really is, Lisa. I guess the CNI is not accurate. I guess you're still in the room, Lisa, but it shows that no one is. So maybe the CNI is people that want to talk or something. I don't know. I don't understand the CNI because I thought it represented who was in the room watching, but you're still there. It's okay, Lisa. You're a good woman. It will, what goes around comes around, the yin and the yang. You'll get your time there. Don't be sad. Keep your smile up. Anyway, I'm here to help answer questions or concerns. So if you have a comment or a question, please text me it. You can be a guest on my live stream. All you have to do is call me or text me. I'm going to put my number up for a second here. Right now, it's been very, very difficult. Why? Well, normally I have two devices to run this live stream. My computer is where I run StreamYard, and I use my phone to talk. And right now, all I got is one device, which is my phone. My computer's been down in the dumps. I've been waiting for 2 weeks for a part to come in so I can start using my computer again. And that's been a nightmare and a half. I tell you, sometimes really wonder about customer service. Anyway, hopefully Monday I can resolve the issue when I get that part so that I can start taking calls in and I can look at the internet without it cutting out. Right now, if I go look at the internet, it's going to cut you off. I mean, it's not going to cut you off. It just said I no longer am on StreamYard. I'm knocked off. And if I take a phone call, it does the same thing. Now, I put my phone number up there and my email so that you can text me a message you want to be on my show. We'll make arrangements. Now, if you want to be a guest on my show, all I need to know is your first and last name, your city and state or country, and then your phone number and your email. And I'm glad you put your show. I can take up to 9 people, and I have right now 5 people that want to be on my show, so I can set them up as soon as I'm able to do so. Anyway, that's my phone number, and that's my email. My email is something you could write to. Well, I'm glad to know you're here, Lisa. At least you tell me that when you're here, even though I don't see anybody show up there, that you are there. Well, thank you, Lisa. I enjoy meeting you and talking to you. See, Lisa and I have been good friends for over a year. She's been coming to the show. And I think she's learned a lot, and other people in the show have helped you. Now, I have a really good gentleman that comes in here. His name is David Hilago, and he's from Santa Maria, California. And his case was in Santa Barbara. And for a long time, over a year, he'd been coming here, finding out what he could do to get his daughter back. And I encouraged him to talk to Mr. Davis, and he is probably the latest person that has talked to Mr. Davis as has his kid returned. He had a tough case, and because there's two kinds of reporters. There's your lay person, who is like your neighbor, family members, siblings, the guy that works at the store up the street, the gas station, those kinds of people. The other kind of people are what they call the professional people. And they're your doctor, nurse, your teacher, administrators, your counselor, or your school's nurse. Or maybe it's the caregiver or the policeman or the fireman. They all are called professionals required by law to report any neglect or any abuse. That's the two types of things they're supposed to report. And it's required by law. And have done training to do that and recognize it. So the people that are professionals get it right maybe 50% of the time. And the people that are lay people get it right 25% of the time. And what I mean by that is sometimes these lay people use it as a crutch to do wrong to you. Meaning, if they live in a neighborhood and their neighbor is a dog that barks excessively, they will make a false claim that that you're not taking care of that child. Well, what's so funny or so stupid is they don't even have a child, and they put a claim in and falsify it to CPS, who in turn will come out and investigate that person. The guy says, "I don't have a child. I don't have no idea what you're talking about." So they're the people lay people get wrong, and that's what happened in Lisa's case, where her ex-husband has said so many lies, and of course he has the money for attorney and so forth, and take advantage of the situation. Now David Alago had the same problem with a family member reporting that he did improper behavior with his daughter, which wasn't the case. And I believed him. And he went ahead and hired Mr. Davis. And Mr. Davis got his child back. They ended the case, and he had his first visit with his daughter. It went so well. This is a couple days ago. And so he's looking forward to his daughter full time. She's 10 now. He has also a son. So it's a family of 3. I don't know what happened to the mother. I don't know if she's dead or separated or divorced. I don't know. But I'm so glad that it worked out. Vincent Davis also was my attorney to help me get my children back. Unfortunately, they were stolen back in 2015, the summer of 2015, on false charges. It's all set up. CPS was so corrupt in Orange County. It was terrible. They came and, for 2013 and 14 and 15, I was constantly getting harassed by them. And they were constantly coming to my house and saying, "We got to report you're not feeding your kids. We got to report you're not taking them to school. We got a report that the children are kept dirty. They're not clothed." Anyway, they kept saying all these things, and I kept one by one answering the CPS social workers. I showed them the house on numerous times. I showed them the food area, the refrigerator stocked full, the cupboard stocked full, the place where the children could eat at the breakfast table. There's also a formal dining room that we all can eat in, a room devoted to it. And the home is a beautiful home. It was built in 1994, so it's fairly new. It had all the latest state of the art. It had central vacuum, and it had high voltage ceilings. Each child had their own bedroom and bathroom. And their bedrooms were clean and immaculate. There's nothing wrong with their bedrooms. And it wasn't until the last visit that they came that they come up with something that they said that my wife and I did is wrong. And I don't know if they just got tired and they kept coming out, but I did not know at the time that it was my in-laws that are making these false claims. My wife's mother, father, 3 sisters and brothers were calling in once a week stating that we were doing something awful to our children, which wasn't true. CPS sometimes is so gullible, they believe everything someone says to them, even if it doesn't make sense. Why? Because they've now found the luxury of money. It's a $1 trillion business, CPS says. $1 billion goes to the state, and from the state, $1 million goes to the county. And they, in turn, will get paid if they have a child in custody. Like my 3 children, they're getting $20,000 per month for each child. That was $60,000. It does not take $60,000 to clothe and feed and house 3 children. It doesn't. It's a little exaggerated. And if the children happen to be special needs children, they get additional $10 per child. So that could be $30,000. Again, that's really excessive money and highway robbery. And my case was horrible. It was really something that followed me and haunt me. Now, Lisa says she's still here. It's good. I see several other people in here. Again, I'd like anybody to text me a comment or a question. All I ask is your first name and your city and state. And if you're not in the United States, in a country, then tell me your city and country. Now, I have my number up there if you want to be a guest or you want to email me to be a guest. My phone number is 626 698 0990. My email is bobp@vincentwdavis.com. And then the number of my attorney, the law office is 888-888-6582. And when you call into the law office, when you reach them, make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. Those are important because the key to your success will get a real attorney who has training in dependency law, family law, and juvenile law. You're just up against bad entities. I just cannot emphasize it enough. And you'll be taken advantage of. I've developed 5 rules. 1, get an attorney. 2, do your paperwork, organize it, put it in a notebook, start a timeline incident log, and do a journal. 3, do not talk to social workers, don't answer your door, don't let them have your children, don't let them inspect your place. And while you're at the hospital, or actually at urgent care or the emergency room, don't talk to social workers there. They're going to trap you and trick you and try to take your children from you. It isn't safe, especially if you have a baby. They're just as bad. They're very aggressive. You get an idea of what a typical social worker that's gone bad or rogue is. All you have to do is see this, think of the story of Alice in Wonderland. Alice fell in a rabbit hole and met the Cheshire Cat, who directed her from room to room going nowhere. And that's what CPS is. You'll never go anywhere. They want to keep it clouded because they want the money. They want the money. Now, again, I still ask for some comments that can help me out here, or a question, because I can give you answers. Whether you're a Native American family that has help with CPS and you need to know about the ICWA, there's a thing called the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978. Very important act for American Indians. They too are very much abused. Now, so far I've had Lisa say hi, but the rest of you, I don't know the other 5 or 10 of you. But I'm here as a resource. I'm not an attorney. I'm not Vincent Davis. I'm Bob Pace. The real attorney is Vincent Davis. And he was my attorney. He got my kids back. He's got David Halago's girls back. Yes. All right. Glad to meet you, Clifford Hamilton Jr. Cox. I'm going to call you Clifford. What part of the world are you at, Clifford? All I need to know is the city and state. And if you're outside of the USA, then you're city and country. Now, you say you're part Native American. That's great. Most tribes consider 25% or more as part Indian. Now, there's only about 50,000 to 100,000 true-blooded Native American Indians in the United States. They're slowly dying out, slowly being assimilated. But this past weekend, there's been 2 days of powwows at a university here in Southern California. 53 years, every year they do this powwow. It's the university I went to school. And it's all day affair of drums and dancing, fancy dancing, and so forth. But The American Indians have been abused far too long. It wasn't until 1978 when they finally decided to help out their children. And they've had a sad tragedy. Most people don't realize it, but they're the first Americans. They came over about 10,000 years ago and settled in Alaska, the Eskimos, settled in Canada, the First Nation. They're called the First Nation. And in the United States, they are called the Native American Indians. The word Indian may be very unusual to come up with, but Christopher Columbus is the one that called Indians Indians. He he was first believed to discover North America, but instead he discovered an island in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean. He did not discover North America. Now, maybe the Bahamas or the Caribbeans out there are part of North America. I don't know. They're in the Gulf of America. Now, that recently has changed from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. But they're off Florida and off Venezuela, which has been the news lately. Now, we have a person, Clifford, that says he's part Indian. Now, the way it works, this ICWA, for somebody that don't know, and let me see. You can not call yet, Lisa. I haven't got my phone operated. But anyway, Clifford says his kids are, and he is, and so forth. All you have to do is be registered with one of the 584 federal recognized tribes. Maybe it's 585. I haven't checked recently. And you could go to your Indian reservation and go to your chief and say, am I registered? And if I'm not, how can I be registered? There's a process you have to go through. The advantage of being a Native American Indian or an Indian family is that the Indian tribe itself takes better care of their children than the CPS does outside of the Indian. And it's sad, but it's true. The Indian people take care of their own a lot better. A lot of the agencies for CPS are corrupt, and children are hurt and abused. It's a shame. I mean, Indian children were rounded up in the 1875 and there forward because they were trying to wipe out the Indians. There were so many broken promises. The last big battle they had was Little Bighorn, where Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull massacred Custer and the 7th Cavalry. I don't know what Custer was thinking. He's brilliant strategist. He's a brilliant fighter in the Civil War and in the West and stuff, but I think it was all downhill. But apparently, I think he knew it, and so did a lot of the American people did. The Black Hills was belonging to the Lakota Sioux. But Custer went in there and discovered gold, and then he opened it up to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. And just recently, in the 2000s, Congress tried to put money in the Lakota hands if they recognized that the Black Hills are no longer theirs. But to date, not one Lakota Sioux has said, you can have my land. It still belongs to the Lakota Sioux. They have a treaty for it. They have rights to it. Even though they went in there and did carve all those presidents at Mount Rushmore. Where's Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull's carving? How come they're not included? They were great. They were great leaders for their tribes. The American Indians are proud people, and all 584 some tribes are proud. Unfortunately, they're almost wiped out to extinction, and their children have been so abused. So if you're Native American Indian children, you're registered, tell social service that. They must contact the reservation and make arrangements to have the children transported to the tribe on the reservation to have a Native American Indian help out with the process of family reunification. Indian families do help other Indian families. They're really good about that. But a lot of people don't know that, and that's why it's so important to have an attorney who is trained and educated in dependency law juvenile law, and family law. Now, Clifford further says, well, part of this based on blood, but I don't know. Certain tribes may say you need an eighth of blood, quarter of blood, half of blood. I don't know. Now, Clifford said they put fake felony charges and legal cases on you like a felony neglect with no proof or evidence. Well, first of all, CPS will charge you with neglect or abuse. Now, neglect can be not wearing clothing, no supervision, weren't taken to school, weren't taken to the doctors, didn't get treated for a medical condition. Those are all forms of neglect. The other one is abuse, and abuse is further divided from physical abuse to mental abuse. Now, mental abuse is where you abuse the child so much that they break down by yelling at them. Parents arguing among each other can be a really bad time of mental abuse. Physical is using a device that causes welts and harm to children. They're no longer allowed to use belts and wooden spoons and tree branches to whip their children. If it leaves marks and stuff, it's no good. And again, timeout should be used there. Timeout should be the thing that is used there. Now, the felony charges, the legal cases, sometimes are done by the prosecutor attorney. What happens in a lot of the CPS case is that they call the local police to help them get the children. They think the children are in imminent danger. They did in my case. For a couple years, the cases were found unwarranted. And then one day, a detective was following me. I did not know that. And he had me be pulled over by a black and white who made allege about a fake traffic violation to have me stop. You see, if lights are on, you're supposed to either pull over if it's for you, pull to the side to let the emergency vehicles go by, or pull over to address the officer. You trust in the police, they're true. But not only I had a crooked social worker outfit, the Orange County Child Protection Services there, CPS. I also had a corrupt police department and a corrupt prosecutor. It was corrupt all the way. And it was sad. And of course, you don't know all these things. Your case is over and you had a chance to digest it. Now, as I told you, the reporters who reported me and my wife were laypersons. They were family members, and that's where it was sad. That's where it was really sad. Now, I still see people coming and going. Thanks for the love emoji. I always love that. That's nice. And Clifford is saying they put fake felony charges. I think that was probably from the prosecution for the criminal. Felony charges will be criminal charges. Now, CPS can do it without proof. They can do anything they want to do. That's the sad part. There's no check and balance with that agency. The agency is so corrupt, there's no check and balances. Now, Clifford cases, if he has neglect, his children should be turned over to the tribe on the reservation. And they in turn would place them with an Indian family and then work to reunify that family with the families being charged. Hello, Rocky. You've been to Crazy Horse Memorial in South Dakota? Well, I think they've started it. I don't know if they've finished it. And Rocky says, hi, Bartley. Hi, Lisa. Her first name is Lisa. Rocky. Rocky is from New York. He once was in Pennsylvania, and he is in here because his brother was wrongfully accused in a CPS matter in Virginia. Well, here's the thing is, Clifford, and let me take down my message here and put it so that you all can see the comments that are coming in here. Clifford says, he asked a question, can they really force a felony conviction on no evidence and proof on the criminal side? Well, they can allege, that is, they got to prove it in court still. And I don't know if you have a criminal case and a CPS case, because that's likely what happens. That happened in my case. Not only was I accused by the CPS, I was accused by the prosecuting attorney from detectives investigating my case, police detectives. And my neglect charges were misdemeanor. They did 3 counts of neglect on me and my wife. Also, the prosecution attorney added something new called sex charges. They didn't tell you what it was, but they put 3 counts. Later, I knew why they put the sex charges. It's a trump card they use to have you settle. So if you admit guilty to the lesser charges, the other ones drop away. There's no validity in there. My computer never was searched, and the CPS never accused me of any sexual dealings with my children or my wife. So it was trumped up. It was trumped up because that's how bad and illegal the prosecutor is. My police is corrupt. Sad, but it's true. And so is the CPS entity. And you see, right away, when they hear something, they automatically think it's true and they come after you. Also, they felt that our children were in danger, and they were not in danger. All 3 of them were in school. I just picked up my young son at a really excellent elementary school, state of the art. And it was my son was in a private high school, and my daughter was in a really good middle school. So all 3 of them were rounded up. Now I had my son with me, and he had to sit there and tremble while the detective and all these people that came out to my house, five firemen, 3 uniformed police officers, 2 code enforcement, and I'm sorry, it was 2 police officers and 3 social workers from CPS Orange County. These individuals were all over my flower bed and my flowers standing there waiting for me because I was told I had to come home. I was told to open my door. I was told to let them in. Now, if I knew what I knew now, that I never would have done that. I would have made a phone call to my attorney and I'd let him be present and he would make the decision what we said, what we showed, what we opened about, and he would have stopped the children being abducted. It was wrong. My children were taken to a shelter and put into more danger than they were at my home, at our home. See, at home, they had their own bedroom and bathroom upstairs. It was a huge house. It was a 5-bedroom house. There was 4 bedrooms upstairs, a master suite that's the size of an apartment. It was big. It had walk-in closets, a corner jacuzzi, a toilet closet, a shower, and double French doors to the entrance and double French doors to the outside over a balcony over the swimming pool. We had views of the ocean and beautiful, beautiful home. Sadly, I had to quick sell it so I could pay my attorney to fight my case. You see, when you have to come up with the funds, you'll do anything. And with me, I sacrificed something I worked hard, my forever home for 45 years. And my case started off really bad, too. And Clifford further says, same here, all fake and liars, but can they really force a felony conviction on a no evidence and proof? Well, I don't know how far it went. They can make accusations. And Lisa Bartley says, L. Bartley, my great grandmother was a full blooded, 100% Blackfoot Indian. Your great grandmother? Well, my great great grandmother was 100% Lakota Sioux, and our reservation was the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. That the Indian land where Mount Rushmore and where Crazy Horse is being carved is in South Dakota. It's north of another reservation called Standing Rock, who's been in the news a lot lately. They're north of the Rosebud in the outskirts of the Black Hills. There's also the Pine Reservation, Pinewood, I think it's called Pinewood Reservation. That's to the west. But in Lisa's case, when they took her son away for no reason, just fabricated, they went further and eliminated Lisa out of the CPS case. I mean, she found out that there was a court case she wasn't invited to, she wasn't privy to, and they completely, her husband or ex-husband, orchestrated the son to be his custody only, and she had nothing to do with no visitation, nothing. So she needs to appeal that case because they left her out of the case. She has a good reason for the appeal. Usually both parents are charged. Like my wife was charged and I was charged. And Clifford had both kind of convictions. He had a criminal conviction and then he had CPS conviction, and that was wrong. Wow, they tried to put your children in the same county. Well, the same thing with his kids. Clifford said they was in school in a different county of the same state, but according to them, they lived in their county. You see, each county CPS has jurisdiction. They don't go into other people's areas. So if your kid's in two different counties, um, they need to contact the other county and then they have to work out the details of how they're going to do this. But what was the imminent danger that they said that they had to take your children? In my case, there's no imminent danger. So what was the imminent danger that they told you, Clifford? And I'm glad you guys are giving me questions to answer, either comments or questions, because they're very helpful in this room. I mean, we have about 15 minutes left here of the live stream, and we're starting to have some good conversation here. We're talking about Native American Indian rights. We're talking about wrongful criminal charges and wrongful CPS charges. And it looks like Clifford was really bad with his kids. How many kids were involved, Clifford? And how long ago this happened? We're also talking with Lisa about her son. Now, she's 100% Blackfoot Indian and stuff, but she's been abused by two men. One is a good friend called Kelly. The other one is ex-husband called Mason. Anyway, I'm waiting for some more comments. Oh, Medina, I haven't talked to you in ages. Medina is from Illinois. Now, she just said Illinois has jurisdiction all around, so a case in Lake County can be investigated by Cook County. I didn't know that, and I don't know if that's true or not. Like California has 50 counties, they have 50 CPS entities. North Carolina has 100 counties, and they have 100 CPS entities. And I know in California, Orange County cannot go investigate something in LA County, which is next door. They may share information or talk, but if the parents and their home is in one county, another county can't come in and do that. And I don't know how that works in Illinois. I need to know more information. I think you've been here before, Medina. Um, thank you for coming back here again. You're part of family. I remember the donut. I remember you the donut. It looks yummy. I haven't had dinner yet. Thank you for the emojis, the love, the thumbs up. That's really nice of you. We have some people in here, good group, and they are asking me questions, making comments, so it's making it go a lot better because I can add in things to talk about. But remember, I'm here to help you all because I care. I don't want you to do the same thing that I did. I was so stupid. You know, I have these 5 rules. One, you should get an attorney. It's like open heart surgery. Are you going to have a plumber or mechanic, a car mechanic, work on the heart? No, you're not going to work on the heart. You're going to have a professional doctor that's trained and skilled to do so. Same thing goes for CPS. You need to have a trained lawyer that has a background in dependency law, um, family law, and juvenile law. Those 3 areas of law is what you need some of the background. And I have just that attorney. His name is Vincent W. Davis. I think I've already mentioned to him, and he can be reached at 888-888-6582. Now, when you call the law office, you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And then when you speak to Mr. Davis, you tell him Bob Pace sent you. And he will defend you and help you with your case. Now, he has a fee. If your case is in LA County, California, his retainer is approximately $5,000. His hourly rate is approximately $550. I can't say for firm because every case is different. It all depends on how long the case has been going on, the complexity of the case, and how far away the case is to Mr. Davis's home. And so, like, if he's going to do a case in Wisconsin, it's a $125,000 retainer. I think that's about the highest I've heard for a CPS case. But he'll fly. Some of the added expenses are, besides the airfare, is when he arrives, he needs ground transportation. He needs a hotel to stay at because he doesn't live there. He needs to eat out because it's really hard at the hotel to get groceries or stock like that. Now, transportation is also not only from the airport to the hotel, but it's to the courthouse, and maybe he has to go to the copy center or the law library. So that's why he needs the ground transportation. And accommodations for him to sleep so he's well rested, do well in court. And of course, the food it's sometimes eating at fast foods or eating at dinner, it's hard and it's expensive. I mean, meals at fast food are running $10 a meal now. At restaurants, they're up to $20 a meal. I mean, that's the low end. A lot of times it's 25, 30, 35. Also, he has to get a license for that state if he works in that state. And he doesn't keep 50 licenses for 50 states. Too expensive. I don't know how much licenses are from state to state. But if he had to get 50 licenses and each license was $1,000, that's $50,000. He's not going to pay that if he's not in that state to do business. Now, Medina says and I think Medina is from Illinois. Yeah, you're from Illinois, right? She said they call their CPS DCFS, Department of Children and Family Services, same as LA County. The social worker is an investigator from the Cook County, and she says they can have jurisdiction in Lake County because Department of Children and Family Services is state level agency with authority across all. Well, that's hard to believe, Illinois, but I guess if what you say is true, I'd have to look it up. Be careful. A lot of times CPS people will brag or talk about something that isn't true. Something that isn't true. But anyway, what is your case now, Medina? I don't know. I can't remember whether you're charged of abuse or neglect or both. And how many children did it cover? Clifford has kids, but I don't know how many kids they have. And what are your charges, Clifford? What are the charges with you? Lisa, do you have anything more to state or any more questions? And Rocky, it's so good to have you tonight. What is the latest? I'll be right back. I'm going to look at something on the internet. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. In order for me to look at something on the internet, I have to leave the room. And I do want to tell you that there is a memorial, but 17 miles from Mount Rushmore. It isn't made where the presidents were. It's still in the Black Hills, and it's going to be the world's biggest memorial when it's finished. It's ongoing. It started in 1948, the year before I was born, and it's depicts the great war chief Crazy Horse, who was the only. He led a group that fought General Armstrong Custer and won. It's the only battle that the military ever lost to the Indians. Not only lost, they were massacred. Done by a great superior chief there. But anyway, we have a little bit of history in this room here. And Medina was the last one to make a comment. Do any of you have any more comments to make or anything else to say? Okay, we have Medina further says fraud issues, recent fraud caseloads in Illinois focus on internal misconduct, such as a $3.2 million scheme involving falsified foster care payments, over $8 million in fraudulent loans to take. I believe that. Right now, there's an investigation in Richmond, Kentucky, because somehow some funds have disappeared. It's only $1 million, but still, this is a big one here that you're talking about, Medina. Anyway, this has happened in Richmond, Kentucky. They found 600,000 of the $1 million. It was embezzlement by a social worker working in CPS. Took that money. Right now, they're still looking for the other 400,000. So there's misconduct and fraud things against CPS in the state of Illinois. Wow. And Bartley says, I would love to. And I can't remember what I asked you. I just said, if you have anything more to ask or tell me, I'd gladly like to help you. Lisa Bartley from Montana. I'll call and tell you a story of my daughter that's happening now. Well, I'm not set up for a phone. If I take a phone call, then I suddenly leave SteamYard. No one hears the phone call. It's just me and you talking, Lisa. And I can't do that right now until I get my computer going. I do apologize, but I will get that going there. Um, what is happening with your daughter now? I thought everything's fine with your daughter. First of all, I thought your daughter's over the age of 18. So why they're after your daughter? CPS does not involve themselves with cases over 18 unless it's adult protective services. Now, a lot of us focus on children protected services, CPS, a child protection system. But there's another part of social service called adult protective services. Seniors and elders are abused a lot of times in nursing homes and even in homes by their kids taking care of them. So, are you talking about that, Lisa? Are you talking about your daughter being accused as an adult? Um, does she have elder abuse? I thought she was quite young. I didn't think she was that old. Hello there, Andy. What do you, welcome to the room, but I don't know what you mean by quiet lion. Who's quiet lion? And what part of the country are you from or the world? I like, your name is Andy. That's easy to take. Can you tell me a little bit about your city and your state, or if you're not in the United States, your city and country, and what the lion is about? Now, I have right now 7 o'clock, and my show goes to 7, and I need to wrap up the show. So after 7 o'clock, I noticed that Andy, who came in the room late at 7:03. But I'm glad you're here, Andy, and I encourage you to write some more. Now, everybody sees the room comments. I have it available on the right hand side of the screen so you can see the comments. Andy, are you seeing something wrong with Rocky? You can have two people. Um, I don't know what's going on here. I've known Rocky a long time. And you now tell me that Rocky doesn't live in New York. And who is Andy? Do you have a CPS case? Did who beat their case? Um, remember, we need to show respect to one another. And if you keep talking the way you're talking, I'll soon eliminate you out of the room. I don't tolerate anybody, putting other people down or making a case. This is about politics. I have no idea what you're talking about. First of all, Andy, you haven't told me where you're looking. Did I beat my case? Well, yes, I beat my case. I got my two sons back. And my attorney was Vincent Davis. He did that. Now, Medina says I went to file a complaint on February 13th about fraud. And I had DCFS as well as sheriffs at my door around 11:30 that same night. Yep, they will retaliate. They will retaliate. I accept your apology, Andy. So are you from New York too? And do you have a CPS case? Oh, I know that, Rocky. I am bankrupt. I was further bankrupt. I lost my forever home. I had to quick sell my forever home. I spent a good amount of money with my lawyer. Well, thank you, Andy. It was hard. I had hired Mr. Davis. He's a remarkable attorney. Well, I tell you what, I need to wrap it up. I've already talked a good 59 minutes, almost 60 minutes. So I've given you my time tonight, but I'm going to be back in there and I'll be in the morning at 8 a.m. in the morning. Then again at 1 p.m. in the afternoon and at 6 p.m. at night. And I'm on a West Coast time, California time, Pacific time. And if you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead of me. If you're in Montana, you're on Mountain Time, you're 1 hour. And if you're in Texas, you're 2 hours. So, well, I wanted to do a lawsuit. I have a right to do so. I do need to wrap this up, Clifford. But I had a good case. My social worker committed perjury on the stand. She blatant lied. We could sue her for millions of dollars. The problem being is that with most good attorneys and good law cases, you need a retainer. I had spent all my money fighting. I lost my favorite home. I was penniless. Right now, I'm trying to get out of my hole. And how many years since 2017? That's 8 years. Going to the ninth year. I'm finally trying to get out of my mess. And so, yes, I am very blessed to have Vincent Davis fight and do that. Yes, Rocky, New York is 3 hours ahead of me on the West Coast. I agree there. Um, okay, I was knocked out again. I hit the wrong button. I agree. I do pray all the time there. Thank you, Lisa. It's a hard thing when social services and the judge and CASA coerce my daughter to divorce the parents. Now, my attorney, we fought for almost 2 years. It wasn't until December of 2017. And we had a good case to run, but I ran out of money. I couldn't do any more. And Andy, I'm glad you take care of your kids. You don't have a CPS problem. What's not fair, Rocky? Anyway, I do have to sign off. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Medina from Illinois, Lisa from Montana, Rocky from New York, Andy from New York. Thank you all, and Clifford from Illinois. Thank you all for coming into my show tonight. God bless y'all. There'll be a short video at the end of my show. Please watch it. It's good. It'll spiritually do there. So, with that being said, do not quit fighting to get your children back. Do not trust CPS. Keep your eyes open. Not all CPS is bad. Not all police is, but you can be heads up. All right? So, good night. God bless. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. This is Bob Pace signing off.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce him. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last one.